Well, I have always been an avid learner. I mean, from the time that I was a little girl, I've been a voracious bookworm. But by far, my favorite way to cultivate learning in my professional life is by finding people who are willing to share their experiences with me in the form of mentors. I have been so fortunate to have several incredible mentors who have given me advice on everything from growing my career to balancing work and home life to navigating the waters as a young woman in industry, which has its own unique challenges. But what's really cool is that now that I'm a little farther along in my career, I started to realize that people are coming to me for advice. And that is such a humbling experience to think that people look at me as a mentor now.
My name is Myra Derbyshire, and I'm the Executive Associate at Maryland Emergency Management Agency. A way that I cultivate learning in my career is by contributing to an atmosphere of humility, by always letting the people I'm around know that it's okay to ask for help, and that it's better to ask for help than to not ask for help, and that it's actually a strength. Another principle that I live by at my organization and my previous jobs is I can only keep what I have as far as what I've learned unless I give it away to other people. So it's definitely a principle that I live by, something I've been taught along the way, and something I implement in my everyday life.
Learning really has been a central concept to my entire career in higher education. As a psychology faculty member, I had the privilege of working with students from a wide variety of backgrounds, really encouraging them to think differently about human thinking and behavior, growth and development. And I think now more than ever, it's really important that we challenge the way we think about mental health, especially in terms of happiness and life satisfaction. I think Brené Brown, a famous researcher in psychology, said it best, that we really need to provide the opportunities for people to be daring and the support for them to do it greatly. And so what I've tried to do throughout my career is embody that and really help my students and now my colleagues, with those opportunities and the support that they need. And so as I emerge as a woman leader, learning is certainly a part of that pathway.
Good morning. My name is Ashira Quibili. I'm the Marketing Communications Coordinator at Freedom Federal Credit Union. So one way I've implemented cultivating learning in my career has been working with our interns in my current role at Freedom Federal Credit Union. So I've given our interns a lot of freedom to create campaigns and marketing, and I supervise from a bit of a distance so that they feel empowered to really create something big and exciting for themselves while I can be a guide to them. I don't hold their hand through it. And at the end of the internship, they've created a campaign from A to Z, and it's an incredible learning experience. It's something they can put on their resume and go out into the world, and whether or not they go into marketing, they have done this really interesting thing, and it's exciting to work with them.
Hi, good morning. My name is Tiffany Wanti. I'm the Executive Director of the Clinically Integrated Network at Sinai Hospital, part of the LifeBridge Health Network. The ways that I try to cultivate learning within my career are to apply lessons that I learned in other areas of my life to my work as a public health professional. So an example of this is my love of horses. I currently have 3 horses that I compete at the international level in 3-day eventing. And these horses are thoroughbreds. They're retired from local racetracks, and I've restarted them from scratch to become eventers. And through this process, I've learned that progress isn't always linear, but that doesn't mean that ultimately you won't achieve something great. My trainer has a saying that she sometimes uses that I think also applies to my career, and she says that if you hear an opinion once, it's just an opinion. If you hear an opinion twice, it's still just an opinion. But if you hear an opinion 3 times, it's consensus and you need to do something about it. So I find this very useful for applying to my career because it reminds me to always be conscious of the feedback that I'm receiving from both my peers and experts in my industry as I continue to grow and develop as a leader in public health.
I'm Susan Brown. I'm the Executive Director for Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment for the Harford County Public School System. And the thought about cultivating learning in my career is such a huge question. I looked up the word lifelong learner, and it spoke about reading a lot, being open to new and challenging ideas, really having that growth mindset, looking forward to new opportunities. And there are many formal ways to do that. You can do that through conference attendance. A teacher can go to professional development. We can read books. We can be on committees, serve our communities, just a myriad of ways in order to be able to do that. But I think for a woman and a working mother, the lines between professional and personal just are blurred. There is no, I do this for my professional life and I do this for my personal life. And the way that really hit home for me was one day I had received a note on my pillow from my son. And I thought it was just another note that he had left me and figured it would probably had to do more with his sibling, an argument that he had had with his sister, or he wanted a new iPod, something like that. But the content of the note really made me think very deeply about not only my role as a mother, but also my role as an educator. And once I read this letter, I realized that my core belief was true, that I do believe in all children. And through that belief, that's how I cultivate learning with the adults.
Well, learning, I have this saying that I like, it's called the ripple effect. And when you drop a pebble into a lake, that pebble doesn't just affect where it lands, it comes all the way out to the shoreline and affects the entire shoreline. And that's a lot like education. First of all, you have to educate yourself. So I try to every day continue to learn. I get lots of emails having to do with substance use disorder, which is part of my job. And then I try to research, find out all the new and upcoming things, keep myself educated, because that way then I can educate others. And I feel if I don't know the up and coming terms and the new stuff, just like I'm constantly taking training and classes so that I can help others. And I can't teach it if I don't understand it. And that's the thing, is that we have to constantly be learning and challenging ourselves to expand our horizons, expand our education. First of all, things change every day. What's popular yesterday, is not necessarily what's popular today, and that makes a big difference. It really does. So, education it's a very important key. Everything, even like in my fire service experience, education. We're constantly having to update our training, and even though I've been an EMT for a lot of years, every 3 years we have to recertify our license. Every year we have to do updates and protocols and to learn new things, because things are changing every day. When I joined the fire company in 1980, that was a way different ballgame than what it is now. It's completely different. So education's important.
Good morning. I'm Robin Luxan, Senior Vice President of Corporate Strategy, Marketing, and Business Development at the University of Maryland, Upper Chesapeake Health. I think the way that I enhance and nurture my learning is to make it a priority each and every day. And I think the way that I can do that is to make it a part of my daily routine, just as I would my nutrition, my exercise, or my spiritual practices. With that philosophy, I approach every day really wanting to open myself up to every learning experience that I can from every single person that I interact with. And then at the end of the day, I reflect back on the things that I've learned over the day and how I can apply that to both my professional career and my personal career. For me, I think it's challenging myself to learn and grow each and every day, and taking that with me into the workplace and how I mentor other people, just as I've been mentored so much throughout my career.
Good morning. I'm Libby Plunkett. I'm First Vice President and Financial Advisor with Janney Montgomery Scott. I work in a very dynamic industry, one that's changing all the time. There are product changes, regulatory changes, changes in technology, changes in the way my customers want to receive their information.
And so it becomes very important for me to continue my learning in order to be able to adapt to these changes. One of my middle school teachers once said to me, "There is always room for improvement." And that stuck with me. And so whether it's by taking continuing education classes to enhance the skills that I have, or by taking courses to learn something new, I'm always going to try to improve through learning. As I move through my career, I find that my clients' needs change, and oftentimes their children end up coming to us and they're looking for something a little bit different. And so these skills that I acquire through learning can help me to adapt and move through my career and give my clients what they're looking for.
Hi, this is Susan Stover, Director of Sales for APG Federal Credit Union. Learning is a critical part of growing, which is why I went back to HCC to pursue my degree. I strive to actively listen, accept feedback, and be open to change. Part of my role is to help managers learn best practices and offer support as they train and coach their team. I have learned that everyone has different learning styles, and I must adapt to provide value when coaching others. I believe learning is a lifelong journey. This year, I hope to grow in order to further contribute to the credit union mission of people helping people.
Hi, I'm Karen Reggae. I'm the Dean for Teaching, Learning, and Innovation here at Harvard Community College. A couple of years ago, I completed Strength Finders, which told me that my #1 strength is as a learner. There's no surprise there. In fact, my profession is higher education, and with a title like Teaching, Learning, and Innovation, learning is what I do all day, every day. But when I thought about learning in the context of leadership, I had to go much deeper, and I came to 2 realizations. First is that learning happens when we as leaders cultivate self-reflection. The word cultivate is intentionally used here because reflection is something we must practice regularly in order for learning to happen. Self-reflection makes us question how our system of values causes us to take the action and make the decisions that we do as leaders. Without self-reflection, we can't learn from our mistakes or gain the wisdom necessary to transform both ourselves and our communities. The second realization that I had is that learning requires curiosity. And while I'm naturally curious about the people and the world around me, being truly curious is a spiritual practice. It requires us to be humble and vulnerable. It asks us to have courage to understand and accept those who are different from us. We can't learn if we don't have the courage and the curiosity to ask the tough questions and listen to what are often difficult answers. As leaders, our job is to listen to the stories of others and to actively engage in finding the commonalities in our human experience. So to me, a leader learns by self-reflecting and by being curious. We teach through our actions and by making connections with those who lead us and with those who follow us. It is a great honor to be nominated for this Athena Award, and I thank everyone from the bottom of my heart.